and this is part 2. So, my dear friends, the second gospel, being Mark, represents Jesus as coming to serve us as a servant, and he actually fulfilled that, because Jesus, like I mentioned, not only came as a servant, but he also taught us how to serve. And that's why he said the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. And of course, he taught us how the love of God and the love of the neighbors. And he said that there is no greater love than for one to lay down his life for his friends. So he taught us how to be at service. Now, the third gospel is Luke. And the third creature is the face of a human being. And this, my dear friends, represents Jesus as the Son of Man. Okay? And it emphasizes more on his humanity. It emphasizes on his vulnerability as a human being, and it emphasizes on his compassion. Okay? And we, of course, when we read the Gospel of Matthew, we do see how he was sweating in the Garden of Gethsemane, which shows his vulnerability. And, he sweated blood, and he actually asked the Lord to remove this cup from him. So it shows us, it emphasizes on his human part. Now, the fourth creature, my dear friends, is the eagle, the flying eagle. And that, Jesus fulfilled it in the Gospel of John. The Gospel of John, my dear friends, is Jesus' perfect man and perfect God. His divinity and his perfect man. So that's one, as being one, meaning, perfection as a human being, perfection as a divine God. And this, by far, my dear friends, is the only gospel in the book of John that Jesus actually makes the statements of the 7 I ams, okay? The Gospel of John. When he says, I am the bread of life, when he says, I am the light of the world, when he says, I am the vine, he says, I am the good shepherd, I am the gate, I am the life and resurrection, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one goes to the Father except through me. So these are the most popular 7 I ams that Jesus made a statement about himself as being the divine God, okay, in the human body. And besides that, the 8th one, I would say, when they came and asked him, and he was arguing, I believe it's in John 8, when he turns around and says, before Abraham was, I am. And he talks, it's either about Abraham or about Moses, but he talks about himself, that he says, I was before Abraham, I was before Moses, I was before all of them. And that is when he establishes himself as an eternal God, okay? But that is not a statement to say, I am the shepherd, I am, but he just says, I am, basically he is the eternal God. That's where he establishes him being an eternal God. My dear friends, these 4 beautiful gospels, which represent the 4 creatures encircling the throne of God, when Jesus came here down on earth, he already fulfilled each 4 of them. And in each 4 gospel, we actually learn something. We learn about his kingship in Matthew, in the Gospel of Matthew. We learn how to serve in the Gospel of Mark. We also see that even though he is God, he became in the form of a human being. So he has that vulnerability and compassion in the Gospel of Luke. But we also see him as powerful as, in the Gospel of John, because he is the perfect God and the perfect man. Now, I would like to, which I will, okay, make another video about this 7 statements that Jesus made about the I ams, because each one, the statement that he's making, I'm also going to tie it up with how it's also connected to the kingdom of heaven. But go to video number 3, because I'd like to talk about something that the Lord revealed to me.